Hey everyone, Matt Thomas here. Thanks for watching. So if you want to hit the reset button in your class, this is the video for you. So if you're like, look, it's just been a strange year. We know it's been a strange year. Let's get that put that aside. If maybe the past couple years you're like, something's off in my classroom. I want to like reset the whole vibe and I want to create more of a positive environment or a foundation of success. This is what this video is all about. It's great if you've seen my other videos and you've taken some strategies from it and you're like, cool, like picking and choosing, that's great. But if you can create like a holistic environment of consistency, a strong foundation in your classroom where students enjoy, coming to class, you enjoy teaching the class, if you can create that, then implementing those other strategies is much, much easier to do. And that's what this video is all about. It's just kind of like one of those, like, I'm not feeling the vibe in my class. Let me just reset and then boom, set the strong foundation for success. So I titled this, How to Create an Effective Instructional Cycle Using Science. And it does sound kind of official. That may be why I chose that. But the reason I put using science is because I don't want you to think this is just my opinion, right? This is based on neuroscience and behavioral psychology. So there are 4 steps to this, just kind of, like I said, reset your class, start over, you could say, right? Creating a great, comfortable environment. And so this is it. So the first step is behavioral psychology. So teenagers model adult behavior. And a great example of this is a teenager will say, look, you give me respect first, I'll give it back to you. An adult will say, no, I'm the adult. You need to respect me first, and then I'll give it back to you. And if you look at those arguments side by side, they're the same argument. Respect me first, and I'll give it back to you. And so as teachers, we can use that to our advantage. So we start giving respect from day one, right, to our students. And giving respect could mean a lot of different things. It could mean just saying hi to them when they come in. It could mean someone's got a baseball shirt on. You're like, dude, you play baseball? You watch baseball? Who's your favorite team? You just converse with them. Some students have music shirts, and you're like, you a music fan or whatever, and you just start talking to them. You get to know them, and what'll happen, slowly but surely, is students will warm up to you. You'll say please and thank you. There's ways to phrase your questions. So rather than, Joey, turn the lights off, hey, Joey, do me a favor. Can you turn the lights off, please? That phrase, do me a favor, is very powerful because it creates a psychological connection to where you're asking them for something and they're doing it for you as a favor, and it makes them feel good. So the way you word questions is so important. And so you're creating this environment of respect. Now, to be fair, I'll be honest with you, because teens model adult behavior, for some teenagers, it may take a while for them to warm up to you. A week, a month, 2 months, a semester, maybe not until the end of the year, because teenagers need consistency. So if a teenager's having a rough life, their parents are mean to them, all these things, right? They come from a rough home life. Right away, they have to get used to you. They have to know that you respect them, and it takes a while. It won't happen overnight, right? So just consistency, environment, creating that environment of respect. And so by giving them a little bit of respect, they start reciprocating it, right? Because teens model adult behavior. And the whole idea of just speak to your students the way you want to be spoken to. So that creates an environment of respect. You're doing it purposely, right? You're doing it because you want them to speak to you the same way you speak to them. And you're not telling them, I'll give you respect, you give me respect, blah, blah, blah. You're not telling them, you're showing them, right? But just through your actions, through your speech, et cetera, et cetera. So you're creating that environment of respect right away. So that's step 1. Step 2, calming the amygdala. So let's talk about that. So a student's amygdala regulates emotions and encodes memories. It's the part of the brain that senses threat. And so something bad, like it's literally, its entire job is to look around for threats. And so if you have a classroom where if a student's amygdala is overactive, if they got yelled at by their previous teacher, if they got yelled at by their parents, if they broke up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, if you've ever had a student that just got shut down in class, you can tell there's no learning going on, right? The student's like hyper-focused, but not on instruction, right? Like whatever they were thinking about. And so when the amygdala becomes overactive, new information can't pass through it. So imagine a brain is 100% fully capable of learning whatever you're trying to teach. Now, when their amygdala becomes overactive through someone yelling at them, through any sense of threat at all, that ability to take in new information becomes smaller and smaller. Until pretty soon, they may not be able to take in new information at all, especially if it's really overactive, if a teacher yells at them or whatever, right? And so if you can imagine a class, so you've created your environment of success, or respect, you speak to the students respectfully, vice versa, etc. That doesn't mean you don't get on them when they need to get on them, not at all. It's just more of a way of doing it respectfully. And so if a student comes to your class not feeling threatened at all, then you have the opportunity to teach them more efficiently. If a student, for whatever reason, doesn't like the class, and it may not even be you, it may be because of previous experience with a teacher on that particular subject or whatever, they come in just like, oh, third period is that class or that teacher. Now their amygdala's like, ooh, watch out for threats. If the student always gets yelled at or feels insulted in class, right, the amygdala's hyperactive, overactive, just walking into the class. Imagine if you have that comfortable environment in the classroom where the students don't have to sense threat. So you've started with creating an environment of respect, saying please and thank you, talking to the students on a human level, etc. Then you've created a comfortable classroom environment, so that leads to that. So they're not stressed or feel threatened by your class. That step brings us to step 3, which is creating dopamine for the students. So dopamine is sometimes incorrectly identified as the feel-good hormone. It's not wrong, it's just incomplete. So dopamine is the anticipation hormone. And there is new research that suggests that dopamine also gets released when bad things happen too. So it's not just a feel-good, good stuff hormone. It can be, but it's just not always. So dopamine, you get a shot of dopamine when you anticipate something. Christmas, Christmas is coming up. Your kids are excited about presents, dopamine. Vacation is coming up. Adults, we think about vacation, dopamine. It's not once you get the thing, unless you're anticipating, enjoying whatever. That's different. But it's the beforehand, it's the anticipation. So, imagine this. You treat your students with respect. You've created a comfortable environment for them. Now they're looking forward to your class. And so they're in second period, and then they go, oh, all right, I got third period Mr. So-and-so's class or Mrs. So-and-so's class. Or, oh yeah, third period, my favorite class, dopamine. So our body likes the dopamine, the positive dopamine, and we want to get more of it. So while you've created that comfortable environment, and then you start, doing some fun stuff in class, right? Getting students to look forward to your class. When a student anticipates that, like, oh yeah, I like that teacher. Oh, I like the people in my classroom, dopamine. And that brings us to the fourth part of this, creating dopamine for teachers. So creating dopamine for students and in teachers, that kind of goes hand in hand. So we know that the number one determining factor of success is, the number one determining factor of success is enjoyment with accomplishment. So you enjoy what you're doing and you feel like you're learning from it, getting better. That's the number one determining factor of success. And I've got a link to that video in this slideshow, and I've got links to other videos in this slideshow as well. I'll go back and mention it. So imagine this. So you've created you treat your students with respect. You've created a comfortable environment for them that allows them to learn more efficiently. They enjoy coming to your class. Why? Because you make enjoyable lessons. So I'm guessing most teachers have like their favorite unit, their favorite lesson, or they built this lesson that they're so excited about. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to make this great lesson. Oh, Sunday night, right? The teacher's like, oh, come Monday, tomorrow my students are going to love this lesson. So the teacher's creating dopamine for him or herself, right? So the teacher's creating dopamine, and we like dopamine, right? We like the good dopamine. And so Sunday night, like, yeah, Monday morning, yeah, exciting. And so therefore, those lessons are going to just come across as being more enjoyable. Students come in, they'll enjoy the lesson. And what if you could have every lesson be that way? And there's no reason why you can't. There's no reason why you can't make every lesson your lesson. Now, it doesn't mean every class, right? So if we're doing something enjoyable, if I'm like, sometimes in English we have to write the essay, right? I could explain the essay, it could be fun type of research stuff, but they still have to write every day or whatever, or they still have to study for the test. It doesn't mean that every day is your favorite day, But holistically as a lesson, every lesson could be your favorite lesson. Or something that's fun. You lesson plan the way you want to teach and you think the way that the students would enjoy. And so you lesson plan the things that are fun, right, for you and your students. Have more fun doing it. And of course that prolongs your career. That doesn't, you don't have maybe less stress, right? Your students will learn more efficiently. The class will go faster because of the way our brain conceptualizes time when we're enjoying things. We tend to go faster. And I always mention, like, bring your home personality into the classroom. So if you're the Star Wars guy at home, be the Star Wars guy in the classroom. Use the, use the Star Wars opening movie crawl, like, to do your agenda every day. So right away, students will come in going, all right, what agenda are we getting now? Dopamine. You're excited because you put together this great lesson plan, dopamine. And I linked the much longer video to that if you want to see that as well. So, creating the effective instructional cycle. This is what we've got. First things first, establish respect for your students, and they will give it back to you. It may take a little while, right? Because, again, teens model adult behavior, and if they're used to a negative adult behavior, then, it's going to take a little while for them to break that cycle. Start with your respect. Establishing respect in the classroom. Create a classroom that's less stress, right? That the students don't feel threatened in. Now you're giving them the ability to learn more. Create lessons that will allow the students to have fun. Give them that shot of dopamine, right? Allow them to, and it's not something they can control. If they're like, dude, I like that class, dopamine. Oh yeah, we have that lesson today, dopamine. Oh, that's a fun unit we're doing, dopamine, right? And them getting the instruction, right? You're the one that created that exciting lesson. So you're going to be having fun doing it, which means you're going to have better opportunity for long-term success. So those 4 things create the foundation of effective instruction. And then you can start picking and choosing other learning strategies that you enjoy to implement in that once you have that foundation, right? And so ultimately, as I went through the 4 steps, starting with behavioral psychology and using neuroscience to create this comfortable environment and a fun, enjoying what you're doing, right? Creating dopamine and enjoyment in what you're doing. So anyway, so that's what I got. Thanks for watching.